Welcome back to Radio Row here in San Francisco from the Moscone Center. Chase Sr., four-time Super Bowl champion Bill Romanowski. You're living up near Lake Tahoe right now. You played and starred for the San Francisco 49ers. Now you see the Niners hosting another Super Bowl. What's it like to be here in San Francisco and networking and catching up with a lot of people?
Pretty awesome. You know, it was funny. I just saw Doug Flutie,
okay,
one of my college teammates, and it was great to see him. You know, his brother Darren was my roommate, and you know we caught up for a little bit, and he said, "Yeah, I was just answering some questions about you, Bill, in the Miami game," and he said, "I remember you had an interception in that game, you know, where I threw the Hail Mary." So great just to see everyone I haven't seen in quite a while.
And you had a legendary playing career, but I'm sure a lot of people are wondering, what is life like now for Bill Romanowski? What are you up to? How are you spending your time?
You know, I work hard every day. You know, I'm still a grinder. You know,
that never goes away.
I have a nutrition company, Nutrition 53. Lean One is our flagship product. I work that every day. I'm always doing deals, helping people. At the end of the day, I still enjoy, you know, being in business and being productive and helping people.
Are you still keeping tabs on the NFL? Are you still watching football every Sunday?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
I watch the game. Still love the game. You know, would love to see my Raiders doing a little bit better. But, you know, the Niners were fun to watch this year. Eagles, fun to watch. You know, I don't think they played to their talent level.
Agree.
But, you know, but they made a good run. The Broncos, of course, you know, with Sean Payton, played really good football. Yeah, it's too bad that Bo Nix got hurt at the end. But, you know, football, you know, come playoffs, that's when I really like the game of football. Regular season, I watch and I follow, but playoffs and Super Bowl, of course, is what I really enjoy.
So Super Bowl 60 coming up on Sunday, New England Patriots, Seattle Seahawks, and for you being a defensive guy with your defensive background playing linebacker, this is the first time since Bill Belichick took on Dan Quinn between the Patriots and the Falcons that we see a Super Bowl between two defensive-oriented head coaches.
Yeah.
You got to love that.
I do, and it's rare. That doesn't happen very often. No. But these guys, you know, you look at the Patriots, they had to have a lot of balls bounce their way. They're a good football team. And Drake May had an incredible year. And, you know, and then I look at Seattle, I was like, and I didn't watch a lot of Seattle until the end of the year, and I'm like, this is a really good football team. These players are violent at the point of attack. They're physical. They play the kind of football that I enjoy watching. And, you know, the Patriots are, you know, physical on defense. Drake May does a great job when he's got the ball in his hand. He can take off and run. I think this is going to be a great football game.
I agree.
And, you know, it's not like I'm rooting for one team or the other. I want to see a really good football game. I want to see a lot of good hitting out there. And may the best team win.
You mentioned the San Francisco 49ers earlier. With all of the injuries that they suffered, all of the adversity that they faced, pretty crazy that they still won 12 games, they won a playoff game, and had the season that they had. What did you think about what Kyle Shanahan and the Niners were able to do this year?
I thought Kyle Shanahan was a magician this year. What he did with like you said, the amount of injuries they had, I thought was magical. And, you know, he's a brilliant play caller. He had that team playing hard, week in and week out for him. I truly believe that. But when it comes to the Seahawks, they were just too physically dominating for them to really do anything. The previous game, before the blowout game, it was a close score, but they physically got beat up in that football game. Yeah. And the score, I think, should have been the same as it wasn't. They were still in the game till the end, which was great to see. But now they have, they have something that they have to get ready for next year. They have to get ready. They have to be able to compete against the Rams, and they got to compete against now a potential Super Bowl champ.
Yep. Got to get better up front.
They got to get better in the trenches.
Yep.
And if they don't, they're gonna drop in the division.
I agree. Center and left guard are huge needs for the Niners going into this offseason. When you were with the Denver Broncos playing under Mike Shanahan, there are some really famous images of Kyle Shanahan being with him on the sideline. And obviously that had a lot to do with Kyle wanting to be an NFL head coach someday. Do you have any memories of Kyle when he was a young pup alongside Mike?
Oh, absolutely. Kyle was always around. He was around also when Mike was the offensive coordinator at the 49ers. Kyle was a ball boy in training camp. So I've been around Kyle for a long time, and I couldn't be happier for him and his success and what he's done. And now it's time for him to, with John Lynch, put together a football team that can win Super Bowls.
Got to ask you about Fred Warner. I think he's the best linebacker going right now in the National Football League. His range, speed, physicality, diagnosing skills, the feel, the football instincts, the cerebral high football IQ. When I watch him, I'm like, that guy is one of one. And I always encourage people, don't just watch the football when you're watching the broadcast. Watch 54. What stands out to you about Fred Warner?
He literally, there's nothing he can't do on a football field. He's violent at the point of attack. Well-spoken guy. Yeah. I was watching an interview, last night, and I'm like, oh, this guy is, not only is he a great football player, really smart guy, clearly when you hear him speak, and he plays the position the way it's supposed to be played. He makes me now an older retired football player, wish I was playing again.
Is there anybody now who you would say plays like you? Of course, the playing style and the game is different, but is there anybody that you kind of watch and you're like, that reminds me of me?
I tried to play. Hey, I didn't have the physical ability of Fred Warner, but that's the style of football that inspired me. And that's what I tried to be, back when I played, it was, the Giants, the Lawrence Taylors, the Gary Reasons, those kind of guys that I looked up to, and the Mike Singletaries. And what did they bring? They brought intensity and they brought violence. If you're going to play linebacker in the National Football League, you better be ready to hit somebody, because that's what this game is all about.
You, of course, still care about the Oakland Raiders, now the Las Vegas Raiders, and I think they're going to be on their fourth coach in 4 years.
Yes.
What do you think about the current status of that Raiders organization? What do they need to do to get back to being successful?
Look at what New England did to turn their program around. They spent a lot of money, and they brought in key free agents and they didn't hit on 50%. They didn't hit on 70. They hit 100%, and they drafted really well. They need more talent. And, of course, they need a quarterback, and it looks like they're going to get a quarterback this year. So But I don't care who you bring in. If it's going to be Clint Kubiak, it looks like it's going to be him as head coach. If you don't bring him a lot of really good football players, he won't have success. All the great teams I was on, there's one thing that stood out. Every team had 4 or 5 Hall of Famers on it. And it had 3 to 5 Pro Bowlers on it. It was, you had talent and you had the one position that you had to have a great quarterback. And I won 2 Super Bowls with Joe Montana as my quarterback and 2 with John Elway. So
common denominator there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Gary Kubiak, I guess, was on those Broncos staffs, right? Under
He
Mike?
was. He was the offensive coordinator.
Yeah. What is it about that Kubiak family that just churns out great football minds?
Well, it's, you grow up and you're a little boy and your dad was a NFL quarterback and he coaches in the NFL. Hey, my dad was an engineer. I didn't grow up wanting to be an engineer, but my oldest brother became an engineer. I grew up I wanted to play sports.
Yeah.
I wanted to potentially make it to the NFL when I was a young kid, and I was able to make that happen. So, you see that, and that's what you grow up with. How would you not want to be a part of this game that is very special?
Before we let you go, I know you're busy here on Radio Row. Just tell people more about what you're doing from a supplementation standpoint. I'm familiar with your products.
Yeah. Nutrition 53, Lean 1 is our flagship product. New things that I've done, we've taken sugar out of our product.
Love that.
We took out seed oils and replaced it with MCT, and we have another little tweak we made with one of the gums in my protein meal replacement, fat-burning meal replacement, and we took carrageenan out of, which is a carcinogen. I didn't know that, but it's not in there now. So Lean 1 is even better now than it used to be.
Are you very specific about what you eat and the ingredients in your food? Seems like it.
Hey, at the end of the day, when you hear over the years, oh, you are what you eat, it's very true.
Yeah.
And if you eat if you put bad things in the body's not going to perform for you. So I kind of look at life kind of like how I did when I was a professional athlete. You put good things in, your body will perform for you. Hey, I'm in the last part, let's just say the last third of my life, and I work out every day. I train hard, and I eat really good food, and I supplement well.
Absolute pleasure to have you on here on Radio Row, and it's awesome to see that you're doing so well.
Yeah, thank you.
Bill Romanowski, 4-time Super Bowl champion, here on Radio Row in San Francisco.